Hello everybody, this is Robert from Black Belt Gaming. I'm with my wife tonight and we're trying to go over some of the basics of Dungeon Command, and I've got the first two packs that came out. We're going to take a look at this Sting of Loth pack. Got our rule book here, and I'm just going to start talking to her because trying to give her an idea of how to play. We went over this briefly one time before, but we got busy and we haven't had a chance to look at it again recently. Alright, so in one of these packs you've got these figures, and we're going to be using these cards. You may remember this. Those go with a different game. But you remember you had gold,
Not
and then
really.
there was like silver.
No.
When you play with one pack, you can actually play the game and you don't need another set. You can play with one pack. You just have to divide the monsters in half. And then you need to divide these cards in half. And you do that by picking, putting all the gold cards together and all the silver cards together. And it's a kind of a balanced,
Okay.
balanced set. So why don't you take those cards and start just putting them into two piles. One gold and one silver. And then we'll set up a real simple combat area. I don't think it really matters so much how we set this up, just kind of trying to learn the rules.
There
We'll
you
just
go.
do it like that. Just got one long playing field.
Okay.
Alright.
Do a shuffle?
Let's see. I think it will tell us what monster we're going to have. I think we have command cards and creature cards. So yeah,
Okay.
separate your creature cards from your order cards. Creature cards let you know what monsters you're going to be bringing out into play, and the order cards
Alright.
are going to be used to modify the or carry out the action. What is that from? Oh,
Card.
that's from Cars. That's right.
It's a card too.
Wasn't that
When Mater goes to
goes to Japan?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Why don't I don't think it really matters. Why don't you take the lady and I'll take the dude,
Alright.
and that's our kind of our leader card. And what you've got on there is a special ability. For example, whenever a drow, that's one of the dark elves, collects a treasure token, you can draw one order card instead of gaining one morale. What's your special ability? It says Walls of Web.
Okay. Add 2 to the speed of each spotter and draw drow creature you control.
Okay, so add 2 to the speed. So I guess creatures under your command are going to be moving faster. Creature hand, I guess that's how many cards, creature cards you can hold in your hand, is -3, and yours is 4. And order cards, I start with 4, and you start with 5. Okay. Morale. I think this is representative of our kind of our life points.
Okay.
So I guess in this game, if morale, you know what morale is, it's kind of your courage and all that. When your morale runs out, your army's lost.
Okay.
And then leadership. I think when you look at your creature cards, it gives you a level. Like this is level 4. Your leadership score is how many levels total you can command. So, for example, if I had this Drider and this Drow Assassin, each one is a level 4 creature. To lead both of them,
You need
I need a leadership of at least 8. So if I then try to bring out this giant spider, which is a level 3, and my leadership is 9, that's too expensive. I don't have enough. That's 4, 4, and 3. So I'll have to wait until my leadership either grows or somebody gets knocked out. And let's see. You're going to add 1 to your leadership at the start of each of your deploy phase. Let's take a look at these cards. So when we draw our creature cards when we play, like my creature hand is 3. When I draw these 3 cards, this will tell me which monsters out of the box I can put on the board to fight with. But I have to make sure that their levels, I might only be able to afford 2 of them, or I might be able to afford all 3, as long as it's not over my leadership.
to put down on the board.
Yeah, to put the figures on the board. So let's say I really want to get my biggest piece out, which is is it the Drider? Yeah. Let's say I want to get my biggest piece out, but I don't have it yet. So, maybe we ought to switch decks. This has the Drow Priestess. I don't know if it really matters, does it?
I don't know.
Maybe not. It doesn't matter. Because I don't think it says that one is particularly silver and one is particularly gold, so maybe it doesn't matter. All right, well, let's look at the other order cards. As you throw down your bag of M&Ms. Okay. All right, well, these are...
some of your fans emailed you just now.
Yeah. Well, these are our order cards, and we're going to play those at certain times to modify the action. And I think, let's say I have this, let me get something simple. We've got this Demon Web Spider. Let's look at him.
Right.
He's a level 1 creature.
Right.
And his primary ability is dexterity. So I have this card that's a level 1, and it's called Stalk. And it's a dexterity card. And it's a minor action to use this card. It allows me a special movement. So I can play that. This monster
Okay.
is qualifies to play this card.
All right.
Because the level is equal to or lower than the creature,
All right.
and it uses his primary
So
ability.
both of them have to be in match.
Yeah, and I think he can play this one too, because it's level 1. It's a dexterity card. And if I were to play this one, this is Piercing Strike. It says that you make your next melee attack, and it deals plus 10 damage. So if I'm attacking your monster and I play this card, my damage goes up by 10. But if I wanted to play... Let me just find something here. If I wanted to play this card, Scheme, it allows you to draw 2 more order cards. It requires a level 2 creature to play this card, and he can't do that.
Right.
He's level 1. And it takes a level 2 creature with a primary ability of Wisdom. And that one doesn't qualify.
Right.
So I would have to use one of my other monsters. Surely I've got something in there somewhere that can play it. but he can't. So that's kind of how the some of the basics here. Well, if we take a look at my Drow Priestess, she's level 3.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And she can do Dex cards or Wisdom cards. Also on the card, you can see their speed.
Yeah.
That's how many spaces they can move.
Okay.
And then you see their hit points. You see the hit
What
points?
is the speed?
Speed is right there.
Oh, so this has to be a creature?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. The priestess is a creature or
Yeah.
command?
Creature.
Okay. All right. Yeah, gotcha.
And hit points. You see the hit points right there. That's how much damage they can take before they're destroyed. And then that's how much damage they do. So if I had my little figure next to your figure and it was my attack, I would automatically do 20 damage to your figure. But then let's say I wanted to play and make my attack, and then I played this card, which is a Dex card, which she has. I would add 10 to the damage, and I would hit you for 30.
I see.
So it powers up.
Right.
These cards power up your attacks, or sometimes they help your defense, whatever they might do. So that's the basics as far as the order cards and the creature cards go.
Okay, I see. Gotcha.
All right. As we play the game, this is going to move up and down. And we've got these little triangles here, diamonds or whatever they may be, to mark the number, and it'll go up and down as you play. And you have two, so you got one for your leadership as well. And then you've got these little markers here. These are different damage markers. So as a creature gets damaged, let's say your Blade Master there took 30 points of damage, we'd put 3 of these little tins on him to indicate the damage he's taken. I think another part of the game deals with these treasure spots. And let's see, I think you put one of these treasure chests on it, and then when your figure moves, it may be on top of it. I'll have to double check the rules, but when you get around that, you flip it over, and it'll have a number. And then you take 3 treasure tokens. They don't have a number on it. They're just, looks like they have coins and treasure on them. They're going to go as many as the number there. And as you collect treasure, I think I remember that it ups your morale.
Of course.
Yeah. So I think that's a way to increase your morale, because otherwise, I think as you take damage, I think, let's see, yes, here it is. Whenever a creature is destroyed, let's say that you killed my spider, I lose morale equal to its level. So I would lose 1. So we understand how morale goes down, but I think the treasure is a way to get your morale up a little bit. So sometimes you might have a little race to the treasure spots. Well, next we'll just take a quick look at this this reference sheet. This tells you how to set things up. You get your battlefield, you choose your commander card, you shuffle your creature deck and your order deck, and you draw the number of cards according to your commander. You deploy your starting creatures, and I guess that's depending upon what creature cards you have in your hand and what you can leadership-wise afford to put out. And then you get back to your appropriate creature hand size. So whatever your hand size is. And then
Otherwise, refill the cards
I think,
in your hand.
yeah, you draw new creature cards if you have room to get a new card. And then you start taking turns in order, starting with the player who deployed first. The sequence of play, the first thing you do at the beginning of your turn is you refresh your cards. So if there are any special start of turn effects, you do that. And then you've played Magic before, you untap your creatures.
Okay.
So if you've used any of your creatures and they're tapped, they will untap at the beginning of your turn. And then after you untap everybody, you get to draw one new order card for your hand. Activate is the second thing you do. And when you activate, that means that you take your little monsters one at a time and play out their actions. So, they can move and attack. So how many spaces can they move? Well, that's based on their speed. So those will start moving around and they'll start engaging each other in combat. After you've activated your creatures, you deploy. That means you increase your leadership by 1 and place new creatures on the battlefield. So your leadership goes up, and then if you've got any creatures in your hand and you can bring them in to the fight, you can.
Now, I have a question. What's the purpose? What's the goal?
Well, let's see. It's also kind of like many other games when you bring the other player's hit points or morale down to 0, then you've won the game. So it's it's a game where there's no objective other than to just wipe out the other army. It's that simple. So
Okay.
so it's a miniature skirmish game. And that's what it means. It's little figures fighting each other until one army wins. So that's about as
Are you
complicated.
serious?
Yeah, there's no big scheme or plan here to, sneak over to this spot and then, pick up the M&M and take it. There's nothing like that. It's just a straight battle game. I mean, it's like, chess. It's simple that way. You just try to wipe out the other pieces and kill the king. So the last thing you do is clean up. You resolve any end of turn effects that may be taking place. You draw back up to your creature hand size. And then, this is an important difference from Magic, you untap your creatures.
Okay.
So you're actually untapping twice.
At first and at the end.
Yes, because even though it may be your turn, in doing defense and stuff, I may be tapping my creatures in response to what you're doing. So when it's my turn again, I untap them, and then they do stuff, and I'll tap them, and then at the end of my turn, they're ready again. So it allows them to be ready for my turn to do one thing, and allows them to be ready to do one thing on your turn. But the reason you're tapping them is so that you don't allow one creature to act more than it's allowed.
Right.
And that's, the ending the game, that's it when you reduce the morale of the other player down to 0. Well, those are some of the most important ideas we need to keep in mind. There's a couple of things about terrain, hazardous terrain. It's areas of the map that either slow you down or cause you damage if you move into it. For example, over here, there's this fire.
Yeah.
And it looks like those little pointy things. That's hazardous terrain. And it looks like that, I think you're going to take 10 damage if you move around on a spot like that. And then some creatures have special movement, like they can fly or they can burrow. Do you know what burrow is? Dig in the ground.
Oh.
there is, I think, if we were to play the decks that we have now, I think you have a creature that.
The only burrow that I know is the character from Prison Break.
Burrow.
Yeah.
Was that a character?
Yeah, the guy who was about to be executed.
Oh.
His last name was Burrow, wasn't it?
Maybe so. Was it
Yeah.
Lincoln?
Lincoln, yeah.
Burrows or something?
Yeah, that's what I thought about.
Okay. Well, like there's a wall.
Yeah.
You would normally have to go around it, but you have a monster that can dig under it and come out on the other side, so he can just move in a straight line.
Okay.
Shifting, I think that was important. It's a kind of movement where if your piece and another piece move beside each other, they have to stop because they're going to battle. But if you're allowed to shift, you can keep moving. You don't have to stop. I think that's how that works. And then,
So another piece is the piece that you control.
yeah, the enemy pieces.
How about myself?
Your own creatures can move by
Through each other?
Yeah, they can move beside each other
Okay.
and everything with no problem. Line of sight. I don't think it's too difficult, but it's just about if you have a creature that can shoot or do something, you've got to be able to have a clear line of vision. So if we have this wall and we've got a piece here and a piece here, they can't shoot each other through that wall. It's not so hard. Kind of common sense there. And I guess one of the other fun things is cowering.
Okay.
You know, like coward. If you, as a verb, cower, it means that you kind of duck down and cover up your face and in fear.
Chicken out?
Chicken out, yep. And so
What's a chicken out?
it says that whenever a creature would take damage, so let's say I was going to do 30 damage to your creature, its controller can choose to have that creature cower and go, no. And the creature does not tap. Cowering does not tap the creature. When a creature cowers, it prevents all the damage. And it does not suffer any other effects from that source. But for each 10 points of damage the creature would take, the warband of the cowering creature's controller loses 1 morale.
Okay.
So if you had that creature cower, it wouldn't get killed or wouldn't get damaged, but your morale as an army would drop.
That makes sense.
10 points, 20 points, 30 points. So it would drop 3 points. So it gets you closer to losing the game.
Right.
But maybe you want to do that to save that piece and have it do something else.
Right.
So that's kind of a neat little thing you can do there is cower if you need to. Well, maybe what we'll do in the future is kind of play through some sample turns and get a feel for it, and then maybe try to play a battle or something sometime. All right.
Sounds good.
Thanks.